Well, good morning folks. Somewhat modified Ford 100E. The last of the variants to have these very distinctive backlights. Now, what was parked here before next to the Mexico? Legless, but there's no harm in that. I spy a huge chunk of yellowness in the distance. No, not our MX-5. 6 2CVs and a Citroen Ami Estate, the Ami 8. Well, good morning folks. It is a Saturday morning and we are off to Oswestry on the Shropshire Wales border to the British Ironwork Centre. Now, we've never been there before. We did go past the other day, but we've never actually been in there, and apparently there is a car meeting. It's a meeting for classic cars, for sports cars, retro cars, so basically a little bit of anything really. So we thought, well, it's a beautiful day, quite breezy. They are forecasting 40 odd mile an hour winds today, so it could be a little bit blowy as it is just then, but I'm sure we'll be fine. The MX-5 is primed and ready to go, and it should be a very, very nice journey over. So let's get on with it. First thing we're confronted with is this gigantic dragon perched atop a slightly sad looking XJ Sport, a V8 Jaguar Sport. Clearly these two have been in marriage for quite a little while now, and the Jag is suffering a little bit of tinworm getting in all the usual places. It's got the wheels off the earlier 6-cylinder XJR on it, and it's exhibiting the classic sagging rear bumper that is not uncommon on these old X308s. The mountings tend to rot away for the back bumpers on these cars, and you get this bit of a bumper droop, as you can see, going on here. But it'll be interesting to see what cars turn up here. Like I say, we've not been here before. I think it's going to be a mix of retro, classic and sports cars, and I can see a 100E coming in just now, so let's go and see and watch that arrive. Somewhat modified Ford 100E. There's a Toyota Tercel. When did you last see one of those? Jaguar enthusiasts to look away now. Over here, an S-Type Jaguar looking a little non-factory. That also has been sat here quite a long time. There's a Ford Probe over there, just pulling in next to the Tercel. Another Mini, we've seen a couple of those already this morning. And over here, a Porsche Boxster. The fine old set of Avery scales here. Let's have a quick walk along here. Mix of modern and classic cars down here. Of course, we'll be prioritising some of the older. Here's a fantastic little Mini. Straight cut gears on this one. We heard it coming in from quite a way. Certainly before we saw it, we could hear it coming in. Yeah, what a bonny little car this is. Thanks to the organisers for giving us the okay to video here today. Some very neat little 10-inch alloy wheels. I think these are off the Mini 1100 Special. I seem to remember seeing those before on like a limited edition Mini quite a few years ago. But yeah, what a bonny little car that is, complete with a cage in the back. We'll carry on down here past the Nissan and the Aston Martin. Got a Lexus and a Vauxhall Cavalier. These are quite an underrated car, I think, almost forgotten now. Contemporary of the Cavaliers, I suppose, and maybe the early Vectras, but quite a handsome two-door coupe, the sort of car that they just don't seem to make anymore, which is a bit of a shame, because I think these are actually quite a good looking car. It's a bit of a breezy old start to the day, so apologies for any noise on the microphone, but we will do our best. Harley's off filming for his YouTube channel somewhere. But yeah, that's quite a handsome looking car now. I well remember in 1995 we went to Donington Park to watch the DTM, the German touring cars, and some of the DTM prepped and modified Calibras were spectacular to watch. That was the day we found Big Dodge dumped in the car park at Donington, but that is another story. But yeah, what a fantastic old Calibra. We've got a McLaren there, a Jaguar, and here the 100E, the two-door Ford 100E, the somewhat modified Ford that we saw coming in before. Guessing it's an Anglia, could be a Popular. It's a two-door anyway, so it's one or the other. The four-door would be the Prefect, of course. Debumpered, lovely wide mini lights on this one. This looks very, very in keeping. It's perfect for a modified Ford. Guess we should have a quick peek inside. Leather seats, maybe Ford cast seats at a guess. Yeah, really cool car. 205 GTI arrives, a 1.9, followed by a Golf Mark 1, the GTI Mark 1 there, dodging the puddles, dodging the mutilated S-Type. There's the youthful assistant, busy on his videoing. Hello, young man. And there's that Toyota Tercel. What a rare little car that is, a four-wheel drive estate. It's been quite a while since I saw one of those. The last one was out at Bicester Heritage. I think I've just trodden in a big puddle. Yep, marvellous. But yeah, last one of these was at Bicester, I think I saw. Now, definitely few and far between now. This one registered on an E-plate, so what's that, about 87 or 1988? That kind of neck of the woods. But nice to see some of these retro classics out and about. Cars that have all but disappeared. Looks really super nice in there. The interior looks to be in great condition. So that is a rare car, very rare indeed now. This is the first meet of 2024 held here at the Ironwork Centre. So it'll only get busier as the year rolls along. I think this is held every couple of months or so. So keep an eye on the Facebook page for the Ironwork Centre. And I'm told there's a big vintage meeting in July. But we thought we'd come down here today and just suss everything out and just see what kind of turnout we get. So we might get some cars here that we haven't actually seen at some of the events more local to us. This Escort Mexico is particularly nice. I like that. Yeah, it's a mix of moderns, retros, sports cars, a few supercars as well. Obviously we'll be prioritising the older cars, but we'll try and show a little bit of everything here today. Oswestry is not far away. Only last weekend we were over here visiting the antique centre, the Cambrian Antique Centre, which is well worth a visit if you are ever in the area. Let's go and have a look along here, see what oldies we can spot. Down here we've got the Mitsubishi Evo 5, I think that is, and the Fiesta XR2 Mark II on those original pepper pot alloy wheels. Super clean car in red, very, very nice. I know there are some Mark 1 Fiestas a little bit further up this row, so we'll have a look at those as well. But yeah, who remembers these sort of hot hatches, warm hatches? This was a contemporary of the slightly larger, more powerful XR3i. Oh, great to see well preserved examples, and it's even got the original factory fog lamps on the front, which is nice to see. And then we've got a Porsche Boxster alongside that, and our favourite colour, the midnight blue example alongside that. BMW and a beautiful Triumph Roadster. What a cracker that is. We like old cars here on the channel, and this may well be the oldest car here today so far. What a stunning car that is. All that chrome, lovely black paintwork. Apologies for the reflections. And I do like the badges on this era of Triumph. What a cool looking car that is. Original registration number, original plates, of which we approve. It's got the Lucas 476 fog lamps on the front, matching pair of those. They look original. You can get reproductions, but you can't beat the original. Oh, groovy car that is, and it's got the fold-up panel in the back, the dicky seat in the back, and a separate windscreen for if you need to carry passengers in the back. There it is. Look at that. So that's a fold-up screen, and then that bit goes back, and there's a seat in there. Obviously, you'd only do that if the weather was agreeable. Yeah, what a fantastic bit of kit that is. So what year would that be? Late 40s, 48, 49, 50? Somewhere around about there. These were sold alongside cars such as the Mayflower and the Triumph Renown, similar sort of era to this, but this, yeah, it's a beauty that is. Right, let's carry on down here. Here's our little MX-5 California edition, the Mustang 5 litre Keep going down here, got an Escort. So what's this, a Mark 5 Escort? Is this the RS2000 or is it the XR3i? They all look very similar. Again, quite a rare survivor now, the XR3i. And a matching pair of Mark 1 Fiestas here. This one, a Fiesta 1.1. So this is the more affordable end of the range of what, sort of early 1980s, something like that. 1982 Fiesta Popular Plus up for sale, £5,000. What a bonny car that is. How many people watching this remember these cars? Maybe you learnt to drive on one of these. They're very popular for that in the, well, throughout the 1980s. And here, the sporty version, the Super Sport Fiesta. With very distinctive graphics down the side and those lovely alloy wheels. Really sharp looking car. I like the old dealer plates as well. Everywhere you look there are some pretty wild sculptures around this place, including a horse's head. Anyway, let's carry on along here and roof down on this beautiful Alfa Romeo Spider. Lovely alloy wheels on it as well. What a great looking car that is. Harley does like these as well. This is one of the later cars. The early cars were the boat tails with the sort of the tapering rear end. This is a little bit later. The later cars still had much bigger bumpers on them. This one's got the squared off cam tail on it. The Graduate Edition. Of course, I think there was was it Dustin Hoffman in the film The Graduate? They drove one of these, or one of these cars certainly starred in that film, so I'm guessing that explains this particular limited edition. And yeah, there's quite a few cars here we haven't seen at any of the shows that we get to over our way, so that's always a bit of a result. It's got the original Pininfarina badge on the side there. Pininfarina, the famous Italian styling house, responsible for so many cars over the years, Ferraris and so on, and even our A40 Farina was designed by Pininfarina. And Pininfarina also did the revisions to the XJ Jaguars. You had the Series 1s and the Series 2 XJs of the late 60s and 1970s. Then when Jaguar needed to refresh the design, they went to Pininfarina and they restyled the car, and that's what became the Series 3 XJ6 and the XJ12. And that design was a very successful refresh of the original shape, if you like, and continued for many, many years. So Pininfarina is a name steeped in history when it comes to cars, British, Italian and many more. And here we have RS Turbo Escort, trade plate in the window, Astra Coupe, Seat slammed on the floor, and a Lexus, the LS400 Lexus. This was built to take on the likes of the Mercedes-Benz S-Class. Lexus was a brand dreamt up by Toyota, because I think they probably thought that there'd be a bit of badge snobbery if you made a posh Toyota, so the posh cars were badged up as Lexus, as is the case here. Is it the 400? Yes, the LS400. And these, by all accounts, were excellent cars, really well made, beautifully put together, perhaps not quite got the cachet of the sort of rival Mercedes S-Class or the 7 Series BMW, but there's no doubting they were superbly put together, and there are quite a few still running now, and like this one, in good condition, which tells you a lot about the build quality of Toyotas and Lexuses. I'm sure this one's probably got, I don't know what the mileage is, but I'm sure it's probably quite a decent mileage on it, and it'll go on for decades if looked after, I'm sure. So yeah, excellent car. Next up we have a rubber bumper MGB Roadster. It's got the Minolette style wheels on it, very similar to those on Dad's car, although I think his are the 15s, I think those are 14s, I think. We may have seen this car somewhere before, not quite sure. It's got the silver and black plates. It wouldn't have had those back in the day, but it is okay, legal now to put those on. But yeah, typically you would see those on cars up until sort of late 60s, beginning of the 1970s, and then reflective plates kind of took over. It's also got MGB mud flaps on it as well. And here, an Escort, 5-door Escort, a 1.4 LX on the G plate, so late 1980s. Not sure if we've seen that one before. We've seen there's an estate that goes to some of the shows we go to in that particular colour, but I'm not sure if we've seen this one. It looks like it's got the wheels off an RS on it, possibly. We've got a couple of modern BMWs, and then a Toyota MR2. This is the Mark II version of the MR2, mid-engine. So to get to the engine, you have to go around this end, and there it is underneath there. I'm not sure what the accessibility is like. It's always a bit of a compromise, but apparently it does give these cars great handling, so that's the trade-off. A bit more tricky to work on, but very, very nicely balanced chassis by all accounts. So really good retro car, sort of contemporary of our MX-5 in many ways. Slightly bigger engine in these. Yeah, really, really nice condition, and it's a lovely shape as well. And again, it's just the sort of car that you don't see being made anymore, which is a bit of a shame, I think. Next to the MR2 is a car I've got a bit of a soft spot for, and again, this is a car I haven't seen before, this particular example. A Triumph Spitfire Mk3, the last of the variants to have these very distinctive backlights before they went to sort of the squared off back end that's similar to the Triumph 2000s. This is a fairly late Mk3. The earlier Mk3s had like a script badge on here, and they had separate reversing lights here and over there, and this unit here was just one of those sort of little chrome Lucas lamps for lighting up the number plate. But this is a sort of the facelifted Mark III, hence this slightly different lighting arrangement at the back, different badges. Inside they were very similar. It's still the same 1296cc 4-cylinder engine. Another sign that we're looking at a late Mark III is the satin black windscreen surround. That's usually body colour on the slightly earlier Mark IIIs, but by and large they're all very similar. From the front, it's similar to the Mark I and the Mark II, although the bumper was a bit lower on the Mark I and Mark II. They raised it a little bit on the Mark IIIs, like you see here. But these are definitely, for me, the pick of all the Spitfires. The Mark III, you've still got the classic styling, but the slightly bigger engine compared to the Mark I and the Mark II. And here, Cavalier. It's a nice one. I was looking at an SRI, one of these Cavalier Mark IIs, down at the NEC just a couple of weekends ago. This is on an X plate, so what model are we looking at here? Cavalier SR. Wow. That's a properly rare survivor now. It's great that some of these cars that were once a regular sight are being preserved. There are very few of them still around, but this one's super clean. So it's great to see this, and it's not the SRI. SRI was a fuel injected car, so I'm guessing this isn't injected. It's probably still on 1 or 2 carburetors. And that probably makes it even rarer than the super rare SRI. So it's a real treat to see some of the cars that I remember growing up with at this particular gathering. Yeah, super clean inside, lovely paintwork on it, great colour of course. Yeah, Cavalier SR, how rare is that? It's got number plates for a Manchester-based dealer, Heaton Park Motors 061, before they went to 0161. Yeah, what a super clean car that is. Next to that, another Mark II Ford Fiesta XR2, another real Bobby Dazzler, real mint to that one. And an RS2000 on the end here. There's no shortage of these around, but these are super popular. Got a modern RS Focus coming in there. Still cars coming in. Mixture of old and new, but we'll make sure we try and feature as much as we can, as always, in these videos. Wasn't really sure what to expect when we came here, how many cars would turn up, but it's actually looking quite promising. You'll see a few other classics over there. There's a Cowhorn bumper P1800 just there. Maestro, there's a Rover P4 over the back as well. So yeah, there's a bit of everything here today. We've got a Lotus Elan, one of the front wheel drive Isuzu powered Elan M100s. Lots of other cars queuing to get in as well. So you see a TVR over the back there. More fast Fords. Quite a few big puddles. It's been raining relentlessly lately. Yeah, well, we'll definitely head off up there next time. We've got a later MX-5, another one here. Bonny little Morris Mine 1000 hiding away over here. And a Vauxhall Porsche sandwich OUX 822G, quite a late example of the breed. Lovely two-door Morris Minor 1000. Northgate Garage, Bridgnorth. There's a copy of the original purchase invoice. 1969, one Morris Minor 1000, two-door Saloon Deluxe. Trafalgar blue with blue grey, that's the interior. Very, very nice too. Fit electrical screen wash and underseal. I wonder if that's why it's still here. Fit one wing mirror, not two wing mirrors, just the one. And a steering column dip switch. And they were chopping in 1963 Morris 1000 Saloon against it, so a bit of an update. This on the 19th of May 1969 for the grand sum of £487 after £260 had been allowed on the 63 Moggy that was chopped in against it. Yeah, looks really original. Look at all this original paintwork down here. I don't know if the camera is picking that up, but you can see there's a lot of original paint going on here. This one apparently is called Joyce. There's the Boxster. Yeah, lovely car. Looks to be in really nice condition. Often they rot away, like on the earlier cars where the wings bolt on. It often rots through there. So that's one of the first places you look for rust on one of these before you clamber underneath and start looking at spring hangers and all that kind of thing. Wings tend to rot out at the back. There's a bit of a mud trap behind here, so all the muck gets kicked up from the wheels, and they often rot out. You get a line of rot down the back of the wing and also around the headlights, but this one looks to be in really nice straight condition. So we'll carry on down here. It's a little bit muddy underfoot, but never mind, we'll plough on regardless. Rover P6, a 3.5 on an L plate, so it's a facelifted V8 Rover P6. Bit of information there. Bought new in 1973 by an Oswestry businessman, and he sold it in 76. It's had a fair bit of restoration work. Four wings, outer seals, front and rear valances, one door skin, all the rear suspension bushes, reconditioned brake calipers, etc, etc, plus a lot of grinding and welding. Yeah, definitely a lot of work's gone into this one. All these panels unbolt. You can unbolt the wings, the roof panel, obviously the doors come off, the front wings. Some of these had an adapter so you could have the spare wheel mounted on top of the boot lid, which probably didn't do much for rear vision but did give you a lot more space in the boot. And yeah, quite sharp looking cars these. Inboard rear discs on these, just like the Jaguar XJ and the S-Type. Here's that 1.9205 GTI that came in just a little while ago. Lovely car, and again just the sort of thing that's not being made anymore, really lightweight, sporty little hatchbacks. Look at this magnificent Volvo 240 Estate. It's got the GLT alloy wheels on it. I remember my uncle having a couple of these. We went in a saloon in the mid-1980s touring France. One year towing a little folding trailer tent, and the next year with the Mustang Caravan borrowed off Mum and Dad. We went down the Mulsanne Straight in one of those, a saloon version of one of those. We've got another Boxster here, Mark II Escort, a 1.6, a sporty looking one. It's got the RS alloy wheels, lovely Cibi lamps on the front, Cibi Oscars. Again in fantastic condition. It's got the Recaro seats with the fishnet headrests. A la RS. This is on a V, quite a late example of the breed. Not long before the hatchback, the Mark III, came out. We've got another 1.9 GTI here. There's that Golf GTI, the Mark I that we saw driving in. Again, very crisp design, lightweight, sporty, go well, handle very nicely. Mitsubishi, a VW Scirocco Coupe. So that's the Mark II Scirocco, isn't it? The earlier car was a bit squarer, a little bit boxier, and this one is sort of rounded off the edges a little bit. This one on a C plate, so that puts this one about 1985, possibly just into 86. Oh, fantastic condition. Again, what a sharp looking car that is. In beautiful condition too. Purposeful looking exhaust stuck out the back, we approve of that. Yeah, Volkswagen. Various register meetings at RAF Cosford, another place we know very, very well indeed. Jaguar here, and on the end, well, what have we got here? A Lotus. Just over here we've got another Toyota MR2. This is a slightly later car. I'm guessing these were the Mark 3s. We often see these on the drift track at Alton Park on track days. We've seen a few of these going around, and they're usually pointing backwards before too long. The midship runabout, hence MR. Still a mid-engine car. You've got the air intakes for the radiator set into the back wings, just like on our 4CV Renault at home. Okay, and here's that fantastic Volvo 240 estate. These things were built like tanks based on the old 140 series of the 1970s. Big, four-cylinder engine, was it about 2 litre, maybe just over 2.1 possibly. I'm sort of scratching the inner recesses of the memory banks for this one. Yeah, very solid, very chunky car, beloved of antiques dealers for many years. And I'm sure so many of them are still in that role, these and the 700 series cars. Yeah, really great solid old girls. If not the most dynamic thing to put around a racing circuit, but for going to antiques fairs, holidays and such like, these were very, very practical cars, and they're still a really practical choice today. Great little VW pickup on the end. Here's that a Caddy, and here the Rover 100, a 6-cylinder Rover P4. Very, very nice car indeed. Some eras, I mean, they did change a little bit over the years. Some years had overdrive gearbox as an option, others they had a freewheel available, but really good solid cars. These are often two-tone, this one isn't, but these are often two-tone, suicide rear doors all the way throughout production. The early cars had aluminium skin doors, later ones had steel skin doors, but what a beautiful interior as well. What a superb looking car, and a very distinctive gear lever as well that comes out from underneath the dash. If you can see that in one of the videos I did at Woodford at the Avro Heritage Centre, I think it was last year, 2023, I had a very lengthy chat with a gent who owns one of these, and he turned up and his son was in a very similar car as well. Yeah, really handsome old girls these are. It's interesting how the rear window is actually in 3 pieces. Presumably the technology wasn't quite right just yet to make that in 1 piece, so they had to make it out of 3 panes and then seal them together somehow. Yeah, really good car, and one of these has been on the possibles list for quite some time, and I could see one of these joining the OCC garage one day. Yeah, a real beauty, that one. We got another one of these VW pickups. Wowzers. Again, super clean condition. Got a Nissan here. What's that, a 350Z or a 370Z? I'm not really sure. And on the end here, next to the Volvo, an Austin Maestro from 1985. 5-door Maestro hatch with the early MG alloy wheels fitted to it, but it's not an MG. But yeah. Who remembers the very early versions of these, the posh ones anyway, with a talking dashboard? That was quite a thing. Rover Group came up with that idea, and that differentiated the Maestro from all of its contemporaries really. But yeah, I think it was only the posh ones that had that. But always great to see these once familiar cars out at these events like this. And again, probably not the easiest cars to keep going. Mechanical bits, I imagine you can probably get them, but trim parts, body parts, are probably getting a little bit thin on the ground. 1.3, so I'll have the A series engine, or the A plus engine to be precise, which can trace its roots back all the way to the Austin A30 of the early 1950s. And here's that 1966 Volvo P1800S. Very incredible looking car. If you took the Volvo badges off that, you wouldn't really know it was a Volvo. This is a fairly early one, and I do like the badging on these earlier cars. Very stylish dash as well. Fantastic, lovely sporty steering wheel on these, and the dashboard with all the gauges going across there. Really, really nice. And this has the cow horn bumpers. So this This is an early one with those bumpers that stick up like that. That body was made by Jensen on behalf of Volvo, but there were some quality issues, so eventually Volvo started producing the bodies for themselves. But this is a fairly early car, registered as a 66. There's a TVR there, just pondering whether to enter the depths of this big puddle. Right, and over the back here, mainly moderns. We've got a nice Alpine A110 at the end there, Beamer, a Dodge Challenger SRT, very purposeful. No, this is nice, a Mark II Fiesta. We've seen a couple of the XR2s, and this is what, Popular Plus, something along those lines, but great to see that here next to the Mustang. The Land Rover Series 3, and a Vet on the end here. Beautiful purple from that Rover V8 under the bonnet of this N-registered TVR Chimera. Here's that Lotus Elan M100 front-wheel drive Isuzu engine in these. Roof down, putting us to shame. Maybe we'll put ours down on the way back home. Mexico here, of course, and there's the Mini showing off its VTEC engine installation now. Yep. If you've watched some of the videos we've done at the old Piggery Cafe, you'll have seen this car on at least 2 occasions that I can think of. Pretty wild looking car, this one. A huge engine. Basically, it's just a huge, powerful engine and 2 seats and a little bit of bodywork just around, just to keep the rain off. But yeah, what a great car that is. And it's actually filled up a little bit more around here since we last came around. So let's go and have a look, see what other oldies along here. There's that 100E. So we've been down this row already. So let's have a look over here. We've got a TVR Chimera in a very vibrant shade of purple, I think. I'm sure there's a proper name for it. I'll carry on along here, see what we can see. Probably got some members of the public car parking over here now, so yeah, let's keep looking for the interesting ones. We go past all these moderns, and look at this, standing out. This is fantastic, another modified Ford 100E, either the Anglia or the Popular, 2-door anyway, and a very sizable looking Ford engine there, Burton tuned, twin Weber carburetors, shoehorned in, well under the bulkhead. So yeah, so quite an installation that is. And again, I think we've got Ford Ka interior, I might be wrong, but certainly later, or possibly out of a Puma maybe, don't know. Nice turned aluminium dashboard as well, just like on a vintage Bugatti. Smart steering wheel there. And the Ford Anglia badge in the middle, that's come off an old key fob, I think, looking at it. But yeah, good idea, I like the idea of that. Got a period clip-on mirror there. Very nice too. Bit of insulation on the inside of the bonnet. That's very cool. Next to that 100E, we have a white Lotus XL. Right, let's clamber over here. Avoid all these moderns, all the sea of grey. What do we have over here? There's a 3 Series BMW on the end of a row, 3 Series compact. So one of the hatchback 3 Series, the E36 era of BMW 3 Series. These compacts are quite popular with the rally boys because they've got the same rear suspension as the earlier E30 apparently. Carry on down here. Now this is a lovely car. We saw this one only last weekend, I think, at Weston Park. That video has gone live now. This is an M535i. So this is sort of in between the regular 535i and the M5. It's firmed up suspension, dogleg gearbox, i.e. dogleg first is sort of off and down on its own down there. Really handsome car these, the E28 era of 5 Series BMW. And these make a beautiful sound, 3.5 litre straight 6. I used to have a bright red 535i with this body kit on it, and it went like a rocket. It really was quite a thing. 8 Series Coupe here. I've got a feeling we saw these two together at Weston Park only last weekend. I think this is, if it's the same car, I'm thinking it's the 840i. Let's have a look around the back. Usually the badging gives it away. Yeah, 840 Ci, very, very slippery conditions, just like we had at Weston Park, which made for an interesting day. Harley's videoing.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah, that Chimera parking up. Let's carry on down here, see if we can find anything else oldish. Over here, wonderful Sunbeam Talbot rally car. Is it a Lotus powered Sunbeam Talbot or a regular Sunbeam Talbot? I'm not quite sure, but I'm guessing it's probably a Lotus power.
It'll be modified to the
Yeah, looks fantastic. Yeah. Beautiful. The original old reflective T-plate on there from about 1978-ish. Stickered up for the 1982 Lombard RAC Rally. Lots of period correct stickers on this car. Michelin, Shell, AP, Lockheed, Bilstein, shock absorbers, Champion, Lucas. Yeah, what a great looking car that is. Got a specially built fuel cell in the back there, alongside the battery. All in the back, presumably to aid weight distribution. Yeah, what a fantastic bit of kit that is. I bet that sounds fantastic. That will sound lovely, that will. We're just back with the Triumph Roadster, and the rear dicky seat arrangements are now on display. So there you go, there is the fold-up screen. How cool is that? Just keep the worst of the weather off the rear seat passengers. Dicky seats in this country, rumble seats in America, or if you're being particularly uncharitable, it's the mother-in-law seat. But yeah, it's, how cool is that? So you actually got quite a lot of leg room in there. So you've got quite a lot of leg room for the two rear seat passengers. You've got a bit of protection from the wind. Yes, it is.
In a Ford Model A, you just get a bench.
Yes. So yeah, it's not so bad, is it? And then you've got the step on the end of the bumper there. I won't deface it with my muddy boots, but yeah, that's where you clamber on and you hop in there and you glide along gracefully, propelled by this 4-cylinder Triumph engine. It's quite compact in there. It's quite tight. But beautiful interior.
Look good as a saloon.
If you had make it into a coupe.
Yeah, there's space for the two seats.
Yeah, well,
a bit like a Riley RM type thing.
Yeah, we've got quite a long front on it, so it would actually carry off a nice long sort of roof line on it. You could get away with it. Yeah, I think you'd get away with that.
That would look really cool actually as a saloon.
You got a nice in-period radio aerial mounted to the side of the scuttle there. Semaphore indicators, original fitment.
Can you see them past the arch?
Do they? Yeah, they do stick out above the arch, don't they? Once they're popped up. Yeah, it's a beautiful car, that is. Oldest here today, I think. It's definitely the oldest here, isn't it? Yeah, what a Bobby Dazzler that is. Somehow I managed to walk past this Fiat 600 from 1966. Rear-engined, bigger brother to the Fiat 500, of course. These were also produced in other countries other than Italy, badged up as, well, for example, the Spanish-built cars were Seat 600s, badged up slightly differently, but very basically the same car. This is a right-hand drive Fiat 600. Oh, what a nice looking car that is. Lots of louvers in the back to aid the cooling of the engine, sat there behind the rear passenger seat. Yeah, it's a great looking little car, isn't it? I love the interiors in these. I love the interiors. Look at the beautiful colours. Very, really 50s throwback to the 1950s. The styling in these particular cars. Yeah, it's very similar to our little 4CV.
Then again, we've got a 750.
Yes, ours is all 748. 748. The Renault. I think it's one more than an Austin 7. And yes, this S-Type is looking a little sorry for itself. Yes, yeah, it's definitely reached the end of the road. Please do not touch, this vehicle is alarmed. Yes, I think I would be alarmed if I looked like this now. Bonnets are now raised on both Mark 1 Ford Fiestas. Transverse engine, so the engine over there, gearbox down here, all nice and easy to get at. What fantastic engine accessibility on cars of this era. And again, this Pop Plus version of the Fiesta, how easy does that look? You know, even doing a clutch swap probably isn't all that bad. Let's go and have a look around the other side quickly before my battery runs out. There we go, so you got the Dizzy down the back there, all nice and easy to get to.
Yeah, the radiator grill's been polished a bit. Oh, it's coming through, yeah.
Looks like the Mini's preparing to leave. Sounds pretty purposeful. Now, what was parked here before next to the Mexico? Can't remember. Oh dear. But anyway, what do we have here? An MGB GT V8 on the North Wales registration, the CA. Yeah, what a cracker that is. Tinted glass. So this was kind of the replacement for the MGC, really. Beautiful looking car, the Rover 3.5 V8, shoehorned into the front, a lighter engine than the big straight six that went into the MGC. There was a company called Costello. They first started putting the V8 engines into these, and then British Leyland decided that'd be a good idea. Hence, the MGB GT V8, the factory produced car, was introduced. What a cracking looking car that is. Looks like the Fiesta Mark II is leaving. Got more arrivals here. Since we last walked down this particular road, we've got a Fiat Coupe. A handsome looking machine now. You can see the, yeah. Was it Chris Bangle, I think, was responsible for these sort of strakes down the side. He went on later to design quite a few BMWs. Styling wasn't for everyone on the cars that he designed. I'm thinking of the early Z4 cars like that. This though is a handsome machine. This is a 5 Series Beamer, the E39 era, the last of the good looking 5 Series Beamers in my humble opinion. This is on a 52 plate, so 2002 registration, so over 20 years old now. What a great looking car that is, very handsome. Before BMW went all a bit silly with those horrible huge nostrils that they seem to fit on the front of their cars today, so they seem to have really lost the plot now. But back in the sort of late 90s, early 2000s, their cars were pretty good looking, I think, for a regular four-door saloon. Certainly not offensive by any stretch of the imagination compared to their more recent abominations. And I can see a gaggle of sports cars coming in. A number of cars have left already actually, which is a little bit surprising. We've got a Peugeot 107 here. Good starter car for someone there. Maybe that's what Harley will end up with, who knows. Yeah, we've got Porsche followed by a Jaguar. Got a Vauxhall just leaving, so I'll try and not get my toes run over by that. So we've got a Porsche Boxster, a Jaguar, and another Porsche behind that. Cars coming and going here today at the British Ironwork Centre. just down the road from sunny Oswestry. Looks like the Red Baron has come into land, just one of the many sculptures on display here. Of course, the Red Baron, more typically, he flew the triplane, the Fokker triplane, the Drydecker. The Red Baron, real name Baron von Richthofen, an air ace on the wrong side during the Great War, of course, until finally getting shot down. Oh, dear. It's a little bit boggy, but yeah, what an incredible creation this is. That's pretty mad. Right, so let's get on firmer ground. Escort is departing. Make that 2 escorts departing. Are they both RS turbos? It certainly looks that way. These are the Series 2 Escort RS turbos based on the Mark IV Escort platform. Oh, I tell a lie, they are arriving. Silly me. Certainly quite a few fast forwards here today. And something over in the corner here for the retro bus enthusiast. I have no idea what I am looking at here, but it's old and it's got wheels on it and an engine presumably somewhere, maybe down under there, who knows. So yeah, a bit drafty for the passengers up top. Maybe this was used for tours around the Ironwork Centre, who knows. Hasn't run in a little while, and judging by the leaves on the front of this, maybe this one hasn't run for a while either. Good grief. Yeah, I don't think we were allowed in here. So we'll just have a quick peer in at the driver's compartment. The emergency door controls up there. I wonder what the history is of this old girl. I bet it's got a few miles under its wheels. And we've got a single decker coach alongside that. Yeah. On the W plate. So not the oldest, but not the newest either. The doors open on this one as well. Ooh, got a whole gaggle of batteries here. Good grief. Yeah, definitely past its prime. Will it run again? Who knows? Let's just go along here. All sorts of sculptures all over the... Oops, a bit boggy again. Tannet Valley, presumably the last operator before it ended up here at the Ironwork Centre. Oh, here we go. Here is the engine installation of this double-decker. Make and model unknown. Yeah, that's a hefty old lump in there. Big turbocharger sat on there. Somebody's alarm's going off. Hope that's not ours. I don't think it is. Definitely looking a bit second-hand now. Done up in safari livery, which makes me think of some of these sort of day trips around safari parks, that kind of thing. It actually reminds me a little bit of one of the On the Buses films, where Stan took a double-decker bus out around a safari park. That's what it reminds me of. They've been there a while, I think. Oh dear. Legless. But there's no harm in that. There's another new arrival over here, a Ford Consul Capri next to the Lotus XL. There it is, very jolly two-tone colour scheme, bonnet raised, K&N air filter fitted to this one. Oh, pretty wild looking car. This is sort of the fastback coupe equivalent to the old Consul Classic. 2 and 4 door versions of those are available, but all these Consul Capris were 2 doors. Very rakish looking cars indeed. The lovely little Alfa's just heading away now, the beautiful little Alfa Spider. Yeah, what a cool looking car these are. Period wolf race alloy wheels. The rakish twin radio aerials. So, yeah, pretty. Always great to see one of these here. Apparently they're quite expensive to produce and they didn't really sell as well as Ford hoped for, making them particularly rare now. And here, there's that Lotus XL we caught a glimpse of a little while ago. The 100E, the turquoise metallic 100E is just about to go. Yeah, that sounds very, very tasty indeed. These are fiberglass body, of course, like the Esprit and the Eclat and so on. Yeah, that's a pretty groovy looking little Ford. Again, wolf race alloy wheels, de rigueur for any car modified in the 60s and the 1970s. Yeah, all fiberglass body on these. Body formed in 2 halves, moulded in 2 halves, and I think the join was behind this seam, as I think I've talked about before when I was looking at an Esprit a little while ago. So yeah, good cars by all accounts. Toyota had a bit of influence on the running gear of these particular cars, I believe, and often you see these on Toyota Supra alloy wheels. Yeah, nice. Talbot Sunbeam's just fired up. What a great bit of kit that is. Just imagine these flying through the Welsh forests in the early 1980s, late 70s, early 1980s, before the 4-wheel drive cars came along and kind of spoilt the rear-wheel drive fun. Well, these were contemporaries, of course, of cars such as the Mark II, Ford Escorts and the Opel Mantas. Henrik Toivonen was one of the guys who used to rally these back in the day. We've got 4 Sibioska lamps on the front of this, and it sounds absolutely glorious. That just sounds great. Yeah, there's definitely been some fascinating cars here today. Slightly harrowing scenes, admittedly, with this XJ. I'm a bit of a fan of these XJ8s, the V8s and the 6-cylinders that came before, so yeah, harrowing scenes indeed, but never mind, you can't save them all. I wonder when this one last ran. Has it ever run? With this creation on the top, I wonder. Yeah, it's looking a bit second-hand in there. Intriguingly, it has cloth seats, this XJ Sports. That must be quite rare, actually, I would have thought. Most of these would have been leather interiors, so to see one with cloth is actually probably quite unusual. But yeah, the tin worm is getting a bit of a hold on this one. And yeah. I wonder how heavy that is. Yeah, the back arches are very prone to going crumbly on these old girls. Same with the sills, the usual Jaguar rock points, but I suppose they are getting on a bit now. They are a few years old, so rusting isn't the sole preserve of Jaguars by any stretch of the imagination. They also go here behind the front wheels as well. So this one's driving days are over, but it lives on as a display item here at the Ironwork Centre. But yeah. Oh, crusty. Ho ho ho.
No, it's not. If that's the last show.
The problem is I do sales for a living, so everyone does it now right now. We all play the game, so no one.
There's a lot though, isn't there? There's a lot.
Spitfire Mk3 is heading off home. Hopefully we'll see this one at a few more events. The owner's only had this, I think it was about 6 months or so, he said. Bonny little car, many happy memories of piloting those around. Cheers.
Right, what about this car over here? Can have a look at this one?
I spy a huge chunk of yellowness in the distance. No, not our MX5, which is now on its own in this row, but this magnificent pickup truck, this late 1970s pickup truck. What an incredible old girl that is. The mighty Chevrolet Silverado C10. It's a long bed, fleet side, i.e. with the flat sides that run down rather than with the pronounced rear wings that we have on our old 40s Dodge. Left-hand drive. What an incredible thing that is. I'll just get out of this gentleman's way, taking a photograph, but yeah, what a great old American pickup truck we're looking at here. Those are quite unusual wheels, I've never seen those before. He's just taking his photograph, so we'll keep out of his way. Don't want to annoy anybody. Right, we can go and have a look. Look at this mighty box in the back here. Many tools and spare parts you could fit into that. All steel bed by this era of truck. What era are we talking? Late 1970s on a T, I think this was, wasn't it? Yeah, on a T registration, so that puts it, what, about 77 or 1978? Very groovy looking truck. Of course, they were very car-like by this point in time. Earlier pickup trucks, and I'm saying 30s, 40s, they're very much their own thing, but as the 50s rolled in, the trucks became more and more car-like to drive, easier to drive, more comfortable, less drafty, less noisy. And this would have been very similar to drive to a contemporary sort of Chevrolet saloon, that kind of thing. So this would have been a great mile muncher. Of course, distances travelled is usually a lot greater in America compared to here in the UK. So this would have been a really comfy, practical, long bed pickup truck. It's great to see it here. It looks super original. The paintwork looks so original, slightly faded, but just as put on 40 odd years ago, however long it is. And well, another slice of classic Americana. Just when I thought everything was starting to go, we have a mighty highway patrol car. Look at that. What an incredible thing that is. Just joining the row here. The mighty burble from its huge V8 engine. Now what is it? Not quite sure. We've got a Lotus 429. So it's a big block V8 Ford. What an incredible machine. This is Highway Patrol California Highway Patrol, Chips. Who remembers that TV series? Well, about 1970 or thereabouts, a Ford Galaxy 500. Ooh, I've been joined by the youthful assistant, magnetically drawn to this huge big block V8. Ooh. It's a little fragrance stood at the back here. Sorry? I don't know, but it's got all the bits. It's got all the radio gear, yeah. It's got the radio gear, the extra lamps, all that kind of jazz. But yeah, the old Chips TV series. Who remembers that? Officer Poncherello and his buddy, I can't remember the name of his mate, riding around on motorcycles on the highways, the freeways of California, fighting crims. And yeah, this is really, really cool. Your Nick Sunshine. What an incredible machine this Ford Galaxy is. An incredible condition as well. I love the whip aerial there. We can have a peer in through the open driver's window. All the gear, radio gear, the Motorola speaker on the floor there. That is spectacular. Really wrap-around dashboard as well. Bit of ergonomics entering the design process by this point in time. Binoculars on top of the dash. Yeah. Ideal for cruising the mean streets of California. The other 100E is preparing to leave. We are fortified by sandwiches today, so we've got the energy to carry on filming. More departures, the VW Golf GTI Mark 1. Very sharp looking car indeed. Or would you go for the French equivalent, the Peugeot 205 GTI? I'm not quite sure which one I would go for, but either would be a lot of fun, I'm sure. I'm advised by my youthful assistant, who's been on the prowl in the public car park, that there are a few things to be spotted. Hello. Over here. Got a Subaru, but more eye-catching still is this epic Chrysler, the befinned Chrysler of the late 1950s. Regulars to the channel will remember seeing this one at the Hopley House Farm Shop meet, and presumably Crew Heritage. I'm sure we've seen it there, haven't we? Pretty wild looking car. Pretty boggy as well over here. Hence, keeping at least one of the driven wheels on the better surface. This VW is pretty groovy as well. But look at this thing, an amazing car this is. We see the owner, and usually one or other of his old cars at quite a few of the events we get to. These huge fins, incredible styling, and incredible condition. Wind is getting up, clouds are forming on the horizon, so we may get a spot of the damp stuff before too long. So we'll just have a quick scoot down here, because I believe there are some tin snails, examples of Citroen 2CV, and I think I can just see them down there. So let's get over there before the damp stuff joins us. 6 2CVs, I think. Yeah, 6 2CVs and a Citroen Ami Estate, the Ami 8. How cool are they? Are fantastic to see all these together here today. These Amis are great, I do like these a lot. The earlier Amis have those really amazing rear set back windows. The Ami 6. This is the slightly later Ami 8 from about 1972 or 73. Yeah, what a great looking car that is. 2CV here.
These are all 2CV6.
And a dolly behind that.
2CV over there as well.
Is there?
On the road.
Oh yeah, there goes another one. Wow. Amazing to see all these classic little French beauties here today. They would have looked good up in the main parking area. But yeah. Oop. We've got a big Isuzu. Yeah. Great to see these classic Citroens here today. Lovely original red one here. Another very original one here. Lacks power. Oh, here we go. I've driven Alton Park. Oh, fantastic to see all these grouped together here. And how about this van? De Chevaux 2CV Specialist on a Y plate. I wonder if this is a conversion. Because you can buy conversion kits to convert. You can convert regular 2CVs into vans. Which, yeah, certainly makes for a very, very neat vehicle. Another one here as well. Well, as you can see, most of the interesting cars have now departed. That Citroen AX is a recent arrival, so I think we will probably think about disappearing too. It's been a really interesting first visit to the British Ironwork Centre here, so we will definitely be back for this one, I'm sure. Keep an eye on their Facebook page for future dates of this particular car gathering, and as the weather improves, I'm sure these meets will only get more and more popular. So thank you very much for watching this particular video. Please have a look around the rest of the channel if you like this kind of thing. Like, subscribe, all that kind of thing really helps the old classic car channel to grow, and it'll also alert you to future updates as well. And there's that little Citroen AX just disappearing. What a great little retro car that is. So thank you very much for watching. Time to head back to base now. Bye for now. Now where did we park? There we are, over there. Not many cars left, but at least we are in very, very good company.